Now, there will be a day of reckoning for Candace Owens in the lawsuit filed by Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, the president and first lady of France. But Don Lemon is in trouble now as well. He's trying to hide behind the First Amendment, just like Candace Owens. But neither influencer's behavior is protected by the First Amendment. So they're both in legal trouble now and will be for the foreseeable future. Don Lemon's reporting on ICE enforcement in Minneapolis has been anti-government for quite a while now. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but it sped up very quickly this week when he stormed a church service in Minneapolis with a bunch of anti-ICE anarchists and BLM. Now, their behavior at the church was intimidating and scary. Here's a sample.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. Out now! Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you. He wears a suit and tie, and he hangs out with Kristi Noem. How is that a Christian? You're supposed to accept all immigrants, are you not? You claim to be a Christian, act like one.
No irony there. Now, they emptied out that church with that type of intimidation. Now, when that individual is identified, whoever he is, I predict he'll be arrested.
How dare you claim to be a pastor of God and you are involved in evil in our community?
And that was Nekima Levy Armstrong. If I'm placing bets, she'll be arrested as well. She founded the BLM chapter in Minnesota and organized the storming of the church service. Now, the church that they invaded is Southern Baptist. Nekima Levy Armstrong doesn't get to decide who's ordained in that denomination. She lacks authority and is out of order. Now, these protesters claim to have the moral high ground, but they sound like Candace Owens saying Christ is king while their behavior is anything but Christ-like. For example, here's a recent tweet from Owens. Now, this individual says on X, and I quote, "There's a reason Candace Owens can't share any text from Charlie Kirk since 2018, unquote. And Owens responds, quote unquote, "Pick a year, any year, Zionists." Now, Owens was fired from the Daily Wire for being anti-Semitic, so not surprising she'd be so disrespectful. Now, Don Lemon was raised in church, so he should know how disrespectful it is to storm a church, scream nonstop, and make demands. And what he did violates civil rights law. Now, here's U.S. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, who leads the DOJ's Civil Rights Division.
What people need to understand about the timing of arrests is we're a little bit different than the state prosecutors who are, I think, frankly, refusing to do their jobs at this point. I have to get federal judges to sign off on arrest warrants before I can arrest somebody. So today's a federal holiday.
So the arrests are coming, and everyone's talking about Don Lemon because he stormed the church as a journalist, allegedly. But let's watch his quote-unquote journalism.
Did they explain to you why they're here?
They did not.
They said that there is someone here in Easterwood, someone who is a member of ICE, and he's a pastor of the church.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
So this is what...
Okay, so the pastor didn't know why the protesters were there, but Don Lemon knew. He already knew the answer to his own question. So, is Don Lemon reporting, or is he part of the protest group and he's just communicating their demands? Seems like the latter. He sticks a microphone in the face of the pastor with the activist screaming nonstop. It's intimidating. It looks like a hostage situation.
the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest.
No, that's not what the First Amendment is about. The protesters are trespassing on private property. There's no First Amendment right to speak on someone else's private property. And here's Don Lemon on video admitting that he knew about the storming of the church in advance.
This is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual.
He was invited to attend. Now, in my view, there's no question Don Lemon will be arrested. Here's the assistant AG again.
He goes out and he says, this was the whole purpose. We want to put people in fear so that they rethink their policies. And by the way, outside he's backtracking and he's like, I think he realizes he's in hot water now by some of his statements he made yesterday to try to clean up what he did after I got activated and the Attorney General got activated on this. But the First Amendment does not protect journalists when they're committing crimes themselves.
Now, she spoke about Don Lemon feeling the heat, and he is. Now, in this next clip, he talks about his emotions.
It's not that I'm not taking this seriously. And just because I smile doesn't mean that I'm not taking something seriously. But you're not going to steal my joy.
So that's ironic. He stole joy from the members of that church, children and families. And there's poetic justice in what he's going through now. He's talking about joy, but he looked nervous in that video. Now, as for Candace Owens, she cannot escape the law either. She cannot defeat the Macrons on the scientific evidence. And Owens's statute of limitations defense amounts to a kitchen sink argument. As recently as this month, Owens tweeted again that Brigitte Macron is a man, and Owens stated that she was stating a fact, which destroys any protection Owens might have had from the statute of limitations. That in itself indicates Owens knows the statute of limitations doesn't bar the claim. So why even bother? She's not even bothering anymore. Now, it's worth looking at this tweet again because it reveals Owens's defense strategy. She says, and I quote, "It is my honest-to-God belief." So it seems she's going to try to convince the court that she genuinely believed Brigitte Macron is transgender. Can she pull it off? It's one thing to play a part on video, but in the courtroom with a neutral judge and jury, highly unlikely. Now, Owens is a conspiracy theorist by trade. A famous liar, in other words. She's made it easy to prove that her statements about the Macrons were made with knowledge of their falsity and with intent to cause harm. Also, to enrich Owens herself. Now, the First Amendment doesn't protect defamatory speech. To show defamation regarding a public figure, the plaintiff must prove that false statements were made that harmed reputation and were made with actual malice. Now, that means with knowledge of their falsity or with reckless disregard for the truth. The plaintiff's burden of proof is clear and convincing evidence, which is a higher standard than in most civil cases. The standard for most civil cases is preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not. The Supreme Court of the United States imposed the higher standard to protect robust public debate and criticism, especially regarding the government. But Owens's false statements aren't within the realm of legitimate public debate and criticism. Owens has made false statements about Brigitte Macron's gender and identity and has even said the Macrons are committing incest and that Brigitte Macron committed statutory rape. I mean, the statements are verifiably false and are sickening lies. The Macron's case against Owens is a cyberbullying case, essentially, and the First Amendment does not protect cyberbullying. That's not how it works. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.